Hello everyone, welcome to Qi Talk. I'm Debra Lin. I have studied Spring Forest Qigong since 2007. I want to share with you my study from Master Lin over the years, the do's and don'ts when practicing internal refinement. A quick and brief definition. What is internal refinement? Internal refinement was historically called Qigong meditation, and to this date, we still use the word Qigong meditation interchangeably with internal refinement to define the sitting, non-movement part of Spring Forest Qigong practice. However, the word meditation does not clearly define the non-movement part of Qigong practice due to its unique characteristics of the practice. Internal refinement seems to be more accurately describe the practice. Hence, we started to call it internal refinement. However, the word Qigong meditation has been widely used, and we still use it for those who have not taken Spring Forest Qigong curriculum. These do's and don'ts were gathered from Master Lin's teachings throughout the years. I hope the information shared here will add value to your Spring Forest Qigong study. Let's get started. First, the don'ts. Number 1, do not practice during severe weather unless you are a very high-level practitioner, especially when it is thunderstorm out. Let the energy pass. Same concept apply to hailing, strong winds, extreme cold and heat, etc. Unless you are a very high level that you mastered the communication with the universal intelligence, Zhen Qi, that you are comfortable in influencing weather. You may choose not to influence weather. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Your meditation does not need to be affected by the weather. Since most of us are not a very high level practitioner, we will refrain from practicing during severe weather. You may ask, so what happens if I practice during severe weather, such as when it is thunderstorm out? One of the higher purpose of practicing internal refinement to unify your Qi and Yi with Zhen Qi. During the thunderstorm, the energy in the universe is quite unsettling. As an energy being in the universe, not only our senses get disrupted, your Qi and Yi can get distracted as well. Number 2, do not practice when experiencing heavy emotions. You feel good with some meditations, and at times, especially when you have heavy emotions, you might want to get into the meditation so you can come back to the quote-unquote feeling good state. While some form of meditation are, the internal refinement practiced in Spring Forest Qigong is not an escape. As I often said, Qigong meditation is work. We work hard to build our Qi and Yi. It is the repetition of the work that trains our senses to become sharper and sharper, that we are able to unite our Qi and Yi. Heavy emotions such as extreme depression, sadness, grief, anger, and so forth, unless you master the technique to use these heavy emotions as energy. Emotions are energies too, and they can be utilized or transformed to other substance for our use. I am a firm believer that any force has the power to break us, also have the power to help us. We just need to know how to use it. Before we learn how to use this heavy emotions energy, we don't practice internal refinement when experiencing heavy emotions. By the way, do you start to see the link between weather and emotions? Maybe someday we will do a Qi talk discussing about how emotions from human and all other beings are related to extreme weather. Feel free to let me know in the comment section or chat area if you would like to know more about the relationship between our emotions and weather. Number 3, do not look for or attach to the special meditation experience. At times, when sitting quietly working on the internal refinement techniques, we may flow into a bliss state and experience different bodily sensation. For example, you may enter into a state that feels all weight has been lifted from you. Further, you could have felt that the physical body doesn't even exist anymore. Only the mind is present. We may call it a state of emptiness. The special meditation experience could vary person from person. Everyone's experience is different. If you experienced something like that, understand that it is a process of internal refinement. Do not seek for those sensations next time. When you are actively searching for a certain experience in your meditation, your mind is not empty. Trust the process. The process has been there for thousands of years and passed down to us from many generations of masters. The repetition of the internal refinement practice continuously refines our Qi and Yi and clear our blockages in the Qi channels and purify the mind. So do not look for special experience. Instead, let go of those experiences. Have faith and practice your internal refinement diligently. Number 4, do not worry if you fall asleep during your practice. In many occasions, Spring Forest Qigong students would ask, I always fell asleep during meditation. I don't feel the benefits of the practice. Don't be critical to yourself. If your mind wanders away, then gently bring it back to the practice. There is no need to be upset about how we cannot stay focused. Our mind is a complicated machine. In fact, very small amount of people has total control of their minds, let alone to fully develop the mind. Fall asleep during internal refinement practice is usually a natural progression when practicing internal refinement, especially when you are a beginner. What happens is that in your mind, you want to start an internal refinement practice or meditation and intended to finish the entire session. And then your body takes over. Be kind to yourself. I'm not saying that your body is more important or the mind is more important. In fact, the two should be in alignment. In the ideal world, the body and mind should be complementing, supporting, and codependent on each other. Master has many times commented about this, that fall asleep while practicing internal refinement is like entering into the void. Either your body really needs a rest or you are picking up or receiving information. So you need to be in the void. So embrace the techniques, the practice, and the time you're practicing internal refinement, even if you fall asleep, and work toward to able to finish the entire session every time. There are techniques Master Lin teaches that help to maintain the sharp focus so you don't fall asleep during the practice. Therefore, you are able to benefit from the entire session of the practice. Maybe in a future Qi Talk, we will discuss those techniques. Number 5, don't underestimate the little pocket of time you have. Make it a habit to focus on your lower dantian, even though you may not be able to go deep in your meditation during our daily activities. Constantly focusing on your dantian trains your qi to quickly be in alignment with your yi. So when you are starting a practice session, you do get into the deep meditation state fast. You may ask, we have upper, middle, and lower dantian. Why focus on lower dantian? Based on the purpose, we do practice different internal refinements which focus on different dantians. In the context of utilizing the little pocket of time in our daily activities, since we still need to maintain the functionings of our daily activities, focusing on the lower dantian is focusing on your physical body's energy. Master Lin had always said many times that keep your focus on your lower dantian at all times is the quickest way to cultivate the Dan. So here is the 5 don'ts when practicing internal refinement. Before we get into the do's, let's review the 5 don'ts quickly. Number 1, do not practice during severe weather. Number 2, do not practice when experiencing heavy emotions. Number 3, do not look for or attach to the special meditation experience. Number 4, do not worry if you fall asleep during your practice. Number 5, don't underestimate the little pockets of times you have. Focus on your lower dantian. Alright, let's get into the do's. What to do when practicing internal refinement. I also have 5 do's to share with you. Number 1, do practice at the same place and at the same time. When you meditate at the same place, it conditions the space to the vibration of yours. Whenever you step into the space, the energy vibration is connected to the higher vibration of the energy you cultivated. As far as the same time, as our different qi channels operates in the body at different hours of the day, practicing internal refinements at the same time is training your qi to work with your body. Practicing internal refinement at the same time every day is particularly important when you first starting the practice, regardless of your goals in healing yourself from an ailment or advancing your spiritual energy. Number 2, do create a personal environment, setting a space for yourself. You don't need a fancy, highly designed or decorated space to meditate. A cushion by the bedside or a comfortable chair in the corner of the living room will serve the purpose. Some people have enough space to set up a meditation room in a residence, and that is an ideal setup. However, for those who don't have enough space at home, a simple setup will work just fine. Whether you have a meditation room dedicated to your practice or you simply have a meditation cushion by the bedside, make the space your own. Dedicate the space to your meditation practice. Creating a personal environment is like setting up a sanctuary for yourself for your alone time. Ideally, you want to make sure the space is clean, quiet, where you have some control to the ambience of the light, so you can lower the light during the practice if you desire. Here's a photo of Master Lin's meditation room. his dedicated space for his practice. You can see that he has meditation cushions, blankets set up in the middle of the room where he sits for his practice. Over time, the place will call for you to be present. And for you, once you sit down at your meditation space, before you even start your practice, you can feel your energy is right there. Most of the time, you even pick up the energy where you left from the last practice. Number 3, do practice a technique until you are mastering it. Stick with the technique and don't hop around from one technique to the other. When you are changing the guided practice often on the daily basis, for example, your qi cannot really be activated. You may start with guided meditation when you first started. However, as you become advanced, practice internal refinement by self-guided. No sounds, no visual. Maslin used an analogy that hopping or changing practices often is like applying and going to different universities. You attend a university intended to learn higher techniques, to learn higher skills. You need to give it time. Before you are able to comprehend the study and you think, well, it's not working, I have been practicing this for a week. Then you change to a different university with a different major. You will have to start over and learn from the very basic again. That way, you never graduate. Number 4, do pay attention to your body's subtle sensations. Pay attention to your body's sensations, even those very slight change that you don't normally notice in our everyday life. The body sensation happened during our internal refinement practice could include itchiness in certain area of the body, irritations, pain, heat or hot sensations in certain part of the body, big or small, or cold, numbness, ear popping, muscle twitching, even your own cell's vibration. Although these sensations may indicate the clearing of qi blockages in certain area, or it may indicate the old information stored in certain area are about to be released. As you continue to practice the technique, you will notice the subtlest sensation as your meditation goes deeper. Pay attention and be aware of those sensations, but not attached. Number 5, do stay in the moment. At times, at many high-level Qigong retreats, Master Lin talk about this quite often. It is in the emptiness that our body's information gets reset. As it resets, it creates opportunities for the qi blockages to be completely cleared. Most of you have read the book Born a Healer. In the book, when Master Lin attended a live Qigong event, during practice, he experienced strong body sensations. Cold, then hot, then cold again. Alternating sensations. Extremely uncomfortable. However, he let go of all thoughts and stayed in the moment. At the end of the Qigong seminar, 80% of the pain in his knees disappeared. He was carried into the soccer field and walked and even jumped out of the field in one day. Long time ago, my father was scheduled to have a procedure done in a hospital for his bladder stone removal. I was practicing my Qigong meditation the night before. there was a moment I felt tremendous power in my hands. I can't really describe that with words. I used this power to do a remote healing for my father from Minnesota to Taiwan, going halfway around the globe, using the power I had at the time to blast the bladder stones into smoke and send the smoke back to the universe. Next morning, I called my dad asking about the procedure, how it went, and how he is doing. He answered, well, they couldn't find any bladder stones, so they sent him home after another x-ray to verify there was no procedure performed. So stay in the moment when you are in the emptiness or when you are experiencing a moment. Let's review the 5 do's when practicing Qigong meditation. Number 1, do practice at the same place and at the same time. Number 2, do create a personal environment, setting a space for yourself. Number 3, do practice a technique until you are mastering it. Number 4, do pay attention to your body's subtle sensations. Number 5, do stay in the moment. Here I concluded the do's and don'ts when practicing internal refinement. I hope you find the information helpful and keep practicing. Spring Forest Qigong has helped hundreds of thousands of people continue to carry out Master's mission of a healer in every home and the world without pain and suffering. If you haven't learned Spring Forest Qigong, take our live classes online. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. And I really appreciate you. Goodbye for now.